So, and before we begin with the reflection, we just wanted to do like a brief and the question that we want to ask is, what did y'all do over fall break that you just enjoyed, or something that you did? And feel free to unmute yourself if that's easier for you, or put it in the chat box and I can read that off.
I can go ahead and get it started, Nicolette, if that's okay. Maybe folks can unmute themselves or share their screen. And I also have my cat here, so I'm really sorry. If I don't play with him, he's gonna start meowing, and I don't want this recording to just be the cat screaming at me. So over fall break, I was spending some time learning how to play the keyboard. I'm trying to learn how to play the piano again, and if you all have any suggestions on like YouTube channels to help me read notes and know how to do that, send those on the chat, please. But yeah, does anyone else want to share? Thank you.
I can go. So over fall break, I got to first off sleep, so that was really cool. And then I got to catch up on The Mandalorian, and then kind of like I also got to practice piano as well because I haven't got a chance to in a while.
I'm gonna DM you real quick. I'm just kidding. Thank you for sharing, Erin. Hi, Lucas. Thanks for being here. Lucas shared that they went home and mainly played video games and relaxed. What video games? I'm not familiar, but I hear these names a lot from other folks. Thanks for sharing, Lucas.
And would anybody else like to share before we get started with our reflecting? Okay, awesome. So we're gonna move along to reflecting. So we're not going to go through all these questions, so please do not be intimidated by this list. I just know that it's kind of hard to think of questions when you are like set in a space to reflect. Oh, I see that we got something in the chat. Okay, Martica worked during break. Oh, that's awesome. Working at a vet clinic, that's awesome. I know that you love animals, so I'm happy to see you got that experience over fall break. So for the reflection piece, I just kind of compiled some questions that we could think about for thinking, reflecting with your experience for Summer Arrive. So we can really just jump in, and if anybody has like any thoughts that come to mind about what they want to share about their Summer Arrive experience, feel free to unmute yourself and say it or put it in the chat box, whatever y'all are comfortable with doing. And if things come through the chat box, Deanna, can you help me read them off? So I keep like tabbing out and it keeps making me move the slide.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that, and I can go ahead and admit folks in as they're joining as well.
Okay, cool.
Or feel free to unmute yourselves if you would like to share out loud.
And we can maybe like start with one just to help with like trying to pick one off this list. So what was something that y'all enjoyed about Summer Arrive?
Can I share again?
Of course.
All right. I really did like how easy it was to complete each activity, but also I really did enjoy having the whole this advisor specialist meetings from time to time. Really did help me connect with like the members of this what do you call it? Organization? Okay, yeah. Okay, organization. I really liked it because I felt more welcomed here.
That's awesome to hear. Thank you for sharing, Erin.
I'm gonna go ahead and share out what was shared in the chat. So thank you for going into the chat. Someone shared Martica Martika shared, I enjoyed that we had some of these videos. It really helped to connect and to get involved. It was not just informative. We were able to engage and voice our opinions, which is awesome. Thank you for sharing. Lucas shared, I really liked all of the events over Zoom. I wasn't able to go to very many, but they were fun and it was nice having something to look forward to. Thank you for sharing.
That's awesome. Thank you all for sharing. Okay, maybe let's try. What are some things that you've learned in STEM Arrive? And it could just be like one thing that like comes to mind too. And I think we got something in the chat, Deanna.
Someone shared self-care.
That's good.
That was a good fun activity. Good Padlet. Helped to adjust to college life and how to manage my time. Thank you for sharing. This also relates to my favorite content / session, but I got to learn about my strengths and how to improve them. Yay, that's awesome.
That's awesome to hear.
I wish I would have gone to that one and done my strengths.
Yeah, it was a really good session.
Thank you all for sharing. I want to share some pieces that some of the folks that I work with who are in Arrive who may not be here, but some folks really enjoyed also the flexibility of Arrive this semester with content, getting follow up back to content online. So I know that helped a lot for a lot of folks who weren't able to attend live sessions.
Thanks for sharing that, Deanna.
Yeah.
Let's go to next. What were some of y'all favorite moments in STEM Arrive?
Oh my God. Sorry, I had to drag him off. Someone shared also yes to the flexibility. It was helpful. And also especially because the specialists are so responsive and understanding. So yeah, so I would say also like the communication piece in Arrive is important. So if there's a big takeaway of like going through Arrive, it's just like the communication, which is what we stress. For like trusting us in this process too, because we ask you all to engage in this if that's your first semester at the AEC.
Yeah, we definitely try to make it so it's supportive to you. Like the last thing that we want it to be is like a stressor or if it feels like busy work. So we definitely strive to help alleviate too.
I got it. Cool. Brandon is joining us. Welcome, Brandon.
Welcome.
All right, someone else shared my favorite moment for communicating in STEM Arrive, but also the weekly newsletters. Those were informative. That's awesome.
That's awesome to hear.
Nicolette puts a lot of work into those.
And right now where we're at, Brandon, is we're just kind of reflecting on folks' time in STEM Arrive, some questions that we've gone through already. We're not going to go through this entire list because that's way too many, but we've touched on what did you enjoy most, biggest takeaways, and we're currently on favorite moments from STEM Arrive. So feel free to jump in, either unmute yourself or put it in the chat box.
That's okay, Brandon. Feel free to add anything to the chat, and also it's okay. We'll have this recording available for you. You didn't miss much. We just did a check-in. Awesome. Any other of these questions that'll stand out to folks that folks want to share? Right, I'm not seeing anything in the chat box.
Okay, awesome. If y'all think of stuff as we like go along, feel free. This is a pretty like flexible and casual session today. So if anything comes to mind while you're reflecting on your STEM Arrive experience, feel free to like jump in, say it, or put it in the chat box. So the next thing I wanted to do is just go over what wrapping up looks like for STEM Arrive. So everybody has until December 11th, which is this Friday, to get in all of these pieces. And hopefully it's not a lot to get in because you should have everything completed through session 12. And if you don't, that's perfectly okay. Just let us know and we can like help support you get in these pieces. So the first thing you need to have in is the pre-evaluation that was given during session 1, which was the welcome. After that, you need to have 8 post-assessment submissions for these following 8 sessions. So the required sessions is session 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 10, 12, and 13. And you have all until Friday to get this in. And I think I saw something in the chat box. Was it a question, Deanna?
Yes, I was just going to respond. So someone asked, are we able to email like us to see if to see what pieces we are missing? So would you recommend for folks to reach out to you or to the retention specialist? I was going to say both.
Yeah, whichever one you're comfortable with. I know the retention specialists are having like unique ways of contacting their students with what they need. So they're reaching out. But if you haven't heard from them yet, or if you're just curious to see where you're at since you have submitted some, you can either reach out to me or your retention specialist, whichever one you're comfortable with, or both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think both helps just to keep your retention specialist in the loop as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever responds first, we both have access to seeing the attendance pieces.
Mm-hmm. Was there another question?
Just saying thank you for those.
Okay. Awesome. So if you have everything in, the last 2 things you need to do is the post-assessment for today's session, and then the post-evaluation, which is evaluating your entire experience with STEM Arrive, and it's very, very similar to the pre-evaluation that you completed. So it shouldn't take too much time. And if you ever need links or to check where you're at with completing this, again, let me and your retention specialist know. We'll be able to help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pause for questions in case some folks have any. I appreciate Binks and their screen time. Okay, if questions come up during the rest of the time today, feel free to put in the chat as well. So to wrap this up before I hand it off to Deanna, I just want to let you all know that I'm proud of you. You did it. We really hope that your time in STEM Arrive was beneficial and it supported you throughout your first semester at CSU, and continue to reflect on your time in STEM Arrive with the AAC. It doesn't have to stop here, and make sure to actually like process and reflect like you completed something really major in your academic career. So validate your experiences and validate you being proud of yourself. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Deanna so she can walk us through how your participation within the AAC will kind of shift to.
Thanks, Nicolette. So now that you are wrapping up, here, I got it. We have someone else joining us, yay. All right, so now that you are wrapping up STEM Arrive, the next phase of our program for the spring of 21 is STEM Thrive. And I'm not sure if folks remember this during the student welcome that we had over the summer or right before classes started. It was a little confusing at the time probably to put all these pieces into place, but all of our new AAC students go through Arrive, and once they complete Arrive, the Thrive program comes next. So welcome, Shana. We just are starting to talk about the next program in the office for folks who are wrapping up Arrive. So please feel free to ask any questions. I'm gonna go through a little bit of like what to expect. I'm presenting this because I coordinate the STEM Thrive program. And so I wanted to make sure that we had time here to chat a little bit about these pieces. So welcome to the party. Just kidding. I wish I was part of Arrive, honestly, too. Awesome. So STEM, like what is STEM Thrive? So we have 3 programs. We have STEM Arrive, STEM Thrive, and STEM Thrive Grad, like the image below that you see. And so really the goal of the program is to really continue extending and like strengthening the skills that you are starting to build already in Arrive. So we do talk a little bit about like academic support still, right? We still are building up on those skills for you all that you all are still going through in your undergrad. We talk about like more like housing off campus, right? So typically, and this is not everyone, but typically a lot of our Arrive students are new first year students who might be on campus. So a lot of that stuff is like helping folks transition. Some of our Arrive students aren't first year students, they're transfer students. They're students who have already been at CSU for a couple semesters, right? And so it's just building on additional skills after the first semester with us. We spend a little bit more time doing like STEM related topics like undergraduate research. And you might have seen these, and we'll talk about some examples. These were the optional Arrive seminars or sessions that we had. So we're giving you all an opportunity to kind of get an insight of like what STEM Thrive looked like. We wanted to make sure like if you all were interested in those during your first year or first semester with us that you have that opportunity, but those optional ones were the STEM Thrive clips actually. So we have some folks in there who were in the STEM Thrive program already. So we'll do more academic prep, career preparation. We start introducing more information regarding like graduate school. And this is not like a list, an exhaustive list. We really look at what our students are telling us that they need in the STEM program. And so really when we are asking folks to fill out assessments, like at the beginning, during each cliff, and at the end, that is what is telling us like what our students are taking away from the program, what things are really beneficial, what things maybe like we need to change up a bit. And that's how we inform this program. So really what you're telling us is going to be really important. So just know that we hear you and we want to make sure we make this program about you. And so these seminars, workshops, I don't know what to call them anymore. They're community learning forums, which we call CLIFs for short. So you might be hearing that word a lot next semester. Some people call them CLFs. That's totally fine, whatever feels like easy for you. Some people are still trying to remember what the AAC stands for, right? So like for me, my first semester at the AAC, I kept calling it the ACA or ACC. And I was like, another acronym. So those are community learning forums. They're just the workshops that we have, and they're standalone workshops. So sometimes we have like a part 1, part 2, but this in the spring coming up, they're standalones, and we ask folks to engage with 2, and that's it per semester. So we'll have a schedule out for the semester with different topics, and you will decide which 2 you want to engage with with the Thrive program. And so that first meeting that you have with your retention specialist, that's when you go over, right? Like what program am I a part of this semester? And what does that program look like? That's when you'll have a meeting and talk a little bit about like what's available this semester, where can I find it? And I'll talk about that piece here in a little bit too. But just know you'll talk about it again with your retention specialist. And so who participates in STEM Thrive? So like I said, folks go into our STEM Thrive program after they complete Arrive, and they will stay in this program up until they reach their last 2 semesters before graduation. So this is the program where we have the most students in our program. So we have everyone who's still maybe is in their 2nd, 3rd year, and then once students are in their last 2 semesters, they'll go into our STEM Thrive grad program that focuses a little bit more on like getting prepared to graduate, more hands-on career prep, more hands-on like graduate school support. Doesn't mean that you won't get those in STEM Thrive, but they're a little bit more intensified in STEM Thrive grad. Any questions? Okay, yes, I see that we got a question saying, do we get emails about the Thrive program and when the dates are, etc.? Yes, so I will talk about what the communication looks like for STEM Thrive, because it looks very different than our Arrive program from our lovely Nicolette and on campus. So let me go ahead and switch over. Nicolette, do you want to go ahead into the next slide. I'll talk about what that communication is in a little bit. I think there's a slide for it. So before I talk about that, I just want to give you all some examples. These probably sound familiar to you because these were the optional Arrive seminars. These were actual clips. Typically, like, this is all found on our website. So that's where our students are going to be finding all that information. We'll also be contacting you all via email and putting these in the newsletter. If you saw the newsletters, there were informations about there was information about Cliffs, and so that's another way to keep connected with the program. But these are examples of some of those. Some things will overlap with Arrive. Some things like the CSU FastFAR workshop will overlap with our classic program from our students who are in all programs. This is applicable to everyone in the AAC. We have financial literacy is another big topic we talk about in all of our programs. So this is like an example of one of those. So typically throughout a semester, we will offer like 10-ish Cliffs, all on different topics. Sometimes we'll have like 2 financial aid, 3 financial aid, 2 grad school ones. So we try to mix it up and try to provide a ton of opportunities, especially since this is a program that students will spend most of their time in when they're in our office. So we don't want folks to go through repetitive workshops. So we'll definitely like switch it up. Later you'll hear that like we also invite students if they want to present their own like workshop or cliff. We do that too. And sometimes we have our student staff who want to present on things who will be involved in this process as well. So it's very collaborative, and it's definitely an opportunity that we open up to students if they're interested. We will have a combination of live and pre-recorded sessions. So we will decide over winter break which ones we are going to have live and which ones we are going to have pre-recorded. And we will have the pre-recorded already on our website from day 1 of spring available for you all, if those are the topics that you're interested in. But then you'll also see a schedule of live cliffs that will be happening in the semester for you to keep an eye on. The live ones will still be recorded and then uploaded to our website. So at the end of the semester, they should all be recorded and available. But there'll be some that are already recorded from the very beginning. Okay, we can go on to the next slide and I'll talk about the communication piece. Oh, this is just an example of some of the STEM Thrive cliffs that were included in like our newsletter, our social media. I would say that that's like a good place to look at if you don't already look at those. I will also be emailing students the Monday of every week just to give an update of upcoming cliffs. But if it helps you to go through the website first with your retention specialist in your first meeting and then write down on your calendar like which ones you're hoping to attend or which ones you can already access on the website, if that's helpful for you too, that's fine. But just know that we'll be sending out communication in a couple of ways. Okay. So this brings me back to your question that you posted on here. I forgot who asked the question, Martika. So where can folks find the cliffs? So you're not going to be on Canvas anymore, unfortunately. You're actually going to be referred to our website, and I'll show you here in a little bit how to navigate our website. That's where you're going to find the full schedule for STEM Thrive of the recorded cliffs and the live cliffs. The live cliffs are always listed in order based on date, and we can browse that here in a little bit. And that's where you'll find like the description, the date, the Zoom link, and the eval link as well. So everything should be on our website. The Zoom link is uploaded the day before. So if you don't see it right away at the beginning of the semester and it's in March, just know it'll get uploaded eventually. How do folks complete their STEM Thrive requirements? So similar to Arrive, people will fill out an eval, and that is really like where we're seeing how students are engaging, how students are feeling like maybe they are taking stuff away, maybe they're not. They're pretty short, but the eval is the same across the board, similar to Arrive, and that link is found on our website as well, and I'll show you here in a little bit. Another question that we got from this semester from a lot of folks in STEM Thrive was like, do I have to attend live sessions? No, you can either attend both, let me restart. So the two cliffs that you decide to engage with, really make it about the topic. If you are really interested in grad school and there's some grad school like live sessions, if you can't make it, then no, it's going to be recorded. But if maybe the two that you're interested already recorded, then you can engage with those. You can engage with all recorded, all pre-recorded, or all live, or a combination. So it's up to you based on the topic. That's what I encourage students to look at, is like the topic. Does that make sense? Cool. And just two. Don't forget, it's just two. And how do I ensure my engagement with the cliff gets accounted for? Going back to the evaluation, it's best to do it right after. People will forget. Sometimes folks can't recall if they submitted it or not. We check attendance weekly, and so we're able to keep an eye on that. And so staff will also be able to see that and check in with you all about that during your student meetings. And that also, if it happens right away, it also will be more accurate in like the responses on the eval of like how you engaged with it. And then the communication. So I will be in charge of communicating with you all and sending just the weekly emails of the cliffs that are upcoming. If there are any cancellations or any changes, I will be sending out the email. Keep it short and simple. If you have any concerns about it, I would say it'd be best to email myself or your retention specialist, if not both. I think both always just helps circle like the communication piece. So if you can, always include both, and I'll include my contact info here in a little bit. The AAC newsletter will always have upcoming cliffs for STEM Thrive. Our Instagram, if you're not already following, is constantly getting updated with these pieces and updates and things like that. So that's always a good way to keep an eye out for stuff. Yeah, that's what the communication piece will be. So the resources to go through Arrive is definitely going to be our website. So our website is always just going to be a good place to look at as a reminder of like what's available for STEM Thrive in the spring. Here's my contact information. You will be getting information from me once your status changes. I will be welcoming you all through an email again, just to provide you the information via an email. And so just keep an eye out from that. Your retention specialist, that first meeting is where you talk about these pieces again. Just briefly, just to let you know, like, hey, you're in our STEM Thrive program now, like, congrats. Here are the requirements for that, just as a reminder. And let's go through the website. Maybe if you all are on a Zoom call and you want to check out the website together, just to see like where to find the STEM Thrive pieces. If you're having a hard time, I would encourage you to do that with your retention specialist. Something unique that we had that I know was a little hard to like figure out this semester was our STEM peer mentors. Our STEM peer mentors joined us a little late this semester, but they are also available for our students after they complete Arrive. They're mainly mentors for students in the Arrive program, but they'll still be available for folks. If you just like want a peer to check in with, like, hey, I want more information from this cliff, who should I talk to? They will have drop-in hours and will provide that information as in the spring when we start, just to get you all connected again with that resource if you didn't use that this semester, which is okay. And then, yeah, like I said, I keep coming back to the newsletter. Some folks mentioned it was a good resource. I would agree. Thanks, Nicolette, for the newsletter support. Okay. I need to breathe a little bit. I feel like I've been talking a lot. Let me just open up before I go through the website. Are there any questions? Let me see. Okay. Yeah, folks have to take off. That's okay. Someone said that they have to take off. That's okay. Thank you for being here. Any questions so far about STEM Thrive? Any confusion, communication? All right. Feel free to add it whenever. I'm going to go ahead and walk through the website a little bit. So if you haven't been to our updated website, this is a new website that we had a lot of our student staff help us with over the summer. If you saw the last one, it was not as good, but this is a revamped website to help us include our programs through our website a little bit more efficiently, and also make it more accessible to students. So when you want to find your program piece for STEM Thrive and STEM Thrive Grad eventually, you're gonna go ahead and just find us at aac.colesstate.edu. If you already have just the CSU webpage up, you can look up AAC and it should take you to the homepage. Once you're there, you're gonna go ahead and click on current students where you see the arrow. Thank you, Nicolette. So you'll click on students, and then can you go to the next one? And you'll see a bunch of drop-down menu options. It looks like we have Arrive on here. We mainly have Canvas, so it'll redirect you, but you are gonna click on STEM Thrive. This is important because we also have a Classic Thrive program. It's just listed as Thrive on here. Those are completely different workshops. Our STEM Thrive page lists our specific workshops that are different based on obviously STEM topics. So make sure you're clicking on the right one. And like I said, we'll have overlap in some of the clips that will show up in both pages, but make sure you click on the STEM Thrive section. Once you're here, you're gonna see these two drop-down menu options. I'm gonna go ahead and admit someone and someone's joining us. Okay, so you'll see, hello, welcome. We're just going over the website pieces, so feel free to jump in whenever you have any questions. So once you are in the STEM Thrive section, you'll see that there are live clips and there are gonna be pre-recorded clips. You can click on each of them and it'll give you a drop-down list of all of them that provide you a ton of content. So for example, I clicked on pre-recorded clips. It'll give me a little thumbnail picture, the title, the description. The way you go to the recording is to click on the title. So you'll see the title is in a different color. That means there's a link there that takes you to the actual video. If you put all these videos here, they would be like a little big and kind of messy looking. So it takes you to its own page. So if you would have clicked on one of these, so maybe STEM Justice, we can click on it and go to the next slide. Oh, actually, never mind. I didn't put those pieces in here. But for example, if you would have clicked on STEM Justice, it would take you to a separate web page that just has the video and that eval link in there as well. So make sure to click on the title. When you go to the live clips, you will have, similar to this, the same thing, but it'll have the date, a Zoom link, space, and then the eval in this space as well. And these will be in order based on the timeline of the semester. So I would say if you want to go to the website now and check out how the program is set up now, I can drop a link in here. You can see what we had available this semester. There are quite a bit of options, and so you can check it out just to give you an idea of like what to expect next semester. But like I said, it'll be really good, I would say, if you go over these pieces with your retention specialist in your first meeting in the spring. And so it'll be good to have that meeting pretty early on. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link to the current STEM Thrive page right now. So if folks wanna check it out. And I would say check out our entire website. There are new things that we're implementing, like a calendar for events on there. We're trying to like do some resources. So we're building it up. We're building it up. If you're unfamiliar with like the staff, the full staff, our student staff. So yeah, check it out. Any questions about what to expect for STEM Thrive? All right. If you don't have any questions, just know that you will most likely have a short conversation with your retention specialist just to get you familiar with these pieces again in the spring. So don't feel like you need to memorize all these things. Just let us know, and I will definitely be reaching out to you all. You can still reach out to Nicolette. Maybe I won't have like funny jokes on my communication piece, but maybe I'll add some gifts just to spice it up a little bit. But yeah, thank you all for being here. I'm so excited for you all to go through the STEM Thrive program. We don't have any other pieces for this presentation, but I want to give it back to you, Nicolette, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, so I did add a slide for De-Stress Week because I always got to do plugs for programming. So this week you've probably been like flooded with communication either from Ricky or myself about De-Stress Week. And it's this week, and it's just a bunch of events where you can come in community with other AAC participants and just relax and decompress before finals week. So feel free to jump on any of these links for any of the activities that you're interested in. You don't have to RSVP, and just come hang out if you have time and energy to do so. But I just wanted to plug that in case folks had time or was interested in like doing something from before finals. But thank you all for participating in STEM Arrive. I'm proud of each and every one of you. Definitely reach out if you need anything at any point in time. And please let me know if you need any support wrapping up your time with STEM Arrive. So thank you and have a good rest of your evening.
Bye, everyone. I also just want to say before folks head out, if you want to know who the peer mentors will be for, or if you don't know who they are, they're going to be doing the yoga event. So if you want to know who they are and want to get connected with them next semester, come to that one. Thank you, Lucas. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll stay back for folks who have any questions.